Hello everyone. So today we are learning how to use the TI Nspire CAS to do basic maths algebra. So if we look at the right side of the screen here, so this is how the calculator looks like, and on the furthest right, this is the screen. So on the menu, in order to access the calculator, we choose the calculator icon over here. So this will lead us to the calculator function. So now, how do we perform basic algebraic formulas with the calculator? If we look at the questions on the left-hand side of the screen, the first one is evaluate the formula and finding the value of a certain pronumeral. So question 1, let's say A is half B times H, and the values of B and H are given here. So how do we find the value of A? Well, the easiest way is we can just key in half first and times by, we can straight away sub in the value of B, which is 7, and sub in the value of H, which is 4.4. And then we press enter. So that's the easiest way to get the answer. And sometimes this way works, sometimes this way it's harder to work. Like for example, in question 2, let V equals to 4 over 3 pi r cubed. And now we can see that instead of the values of r is given, the value of the subject V is given. So if we sub 1,000 into here and we try to solve this, it will involve some rearranging the formula, but there is one way to do it that could be easier. So in order to do this, we can actually store 1,000 into V. So if we put 1,000 and we use this store function and store 1,000 into V, so now V actually holds this value, and now in order to solve this, we can actually use we can go to menu, go to algebra, because this is algebra, and we can actually use this solve function. So algebra is number 3, and the solve function is number 1. So next time, as a quicker way, we can actually press 3 and 1 to make it quicker. I'll show you in the later part. So if we choose solve, we can see now there's this solve word on the screen, and in order to solve this, I have to key in the equation. So that's V equals 4 over 3 times pi times r cubed. One word of caution for using TI is that you have to put times in between two pronumerals, or else sometimes it cannot be solved. But in this case, it should not be a problem because this 2 actually returns a value. And then because we need to find the value of r right here, we have to put comma and r, the pronumeral that we want to get the value for. So if I press enter, I will get the exact value. But if I want to get an estimate value, I can actually go to control and enter, and I can actually get an estimated value if your questions is in decimal. So if we go to different sort of like scenarios, let's say rearranging formula. So how do we do that using the TI CAS? So it's basically the same thing. We go back to the solve. So now instead of choosing algebra, I just press 3 and 1, and this leads me straight to the solve function. So in order to solve this, I'm actually trying to rearrange this equation with P as the subject. So I will have to key in A equals P plus P times R times T. So we have to be careful here and put the times in between the pronumerals, or you can see that a different answer will come out actually, because they will be taking this whole thing as a one thing instead of like 3 pronumerals times together. So in order to make P the subject, we have to put comma and capital P. So this is how we can rearrange formulas using the CAS. So just to do another practice, let's just do another example. So this is the same thing. So I'll try now to do it quicker, and you can see that, okay, I'm just pressing the menu and 3-1, and I can access the solve very quickly. So in this situation, it's 1 over A. So I'll put 1 over A equals 1 over B plus 1 over C. Yep, and the pronumeral that I want to make it into a subject is my C, so I'll put comma C, and you can see that the answers is straight away calculated out. So the next part we are doing, how do we solve equations using the CAS? So to solve equation using the CAS is basically the same thing as well. We are using the same solve function. So go to menu, press 3-1, and we can go to solve. And all you have to do is key in the equation. So this, in this case, this is 2t, take 5 over 3 equals, so that's an equal sign, and 1 over 5, 70, take 9. So the value that the pronumeral that we want to solve here, which is the only one, is t. So I have to put comma and t. So now I have the value. So it's the equation is solved. So can CAS be used to solve inequality? Yes, it can too. So it's the same thing. So we just go to algebra and solve. So it's the same function. So now this is 4x, take 7 is smaller than. So in order to access smaller than, it's this button over here. X over 4 plus 19. So we are solving x, so I will put comma x. So inequalities can also be solved using the CAS. The last part of this is, how do we solve simultaneous equation using CAS? So it's pretty much the same as well. We go to menu, and this is algebra, so we go to algebra, but instead of going to solve, this is actually a system of equations. It's a simultaneous equation, so we have to pick solve system of equations and solve system of equation, which is number 3, number 7, and 1. So your shortcut key next time will be 3, 7, and 1. So if I've selected this one, the screen will prompt me to select how many equations are there. In this case, it's just 2 basic equations. So I choose 2, and the variables are x and y, and therefore I pressed OK. So now I have 2 spaces. The first space is used to key in the first equation, which is 2x plus 3y equals to 22. The second equation is just x plus 2y equals to 13. Yeah, so once you finish and you press the enter button, this can be solved immediately. We don't have to specify further that we are solving x and y because we have done that previously on the screen. Yep, so that's it for today, and happy studying at home. I hope that by doing this, we are able to keep up to speed with everything that we need to do. Yep, okay, that's it. Bye.